Welcome to Tribal Council. We're live here. We're live with JP, Christy, and of course, me. How's it going, guys?
Excellent.
It's going really well. We can almost smell the weekend.
Yes. And just let everyone know that's listening. We do this live so far every Thursday night live. So you can subscribe and join us in the chat. And if you make a comment that's interesting or even not interesting, we'll probably read it and say what's going on. But no, we love talking Survivor, and we love the comments that are in the chat. So anyway, what did you guys think of this episode?
Well, it wasn't last week's episode, which was extremely stellar, but it was still a great episode, I thought.
Yeah, this was it was a really good tribal.
Mm-hmm.
Something about the episode though, it just felt very, very rushed. I thought, like I was watching the episode, and when they started talking about going to tribal already, I'm looking at my watch, thinking
I did the same thing. Yeah, I did the same thing. I was like, "What's going to happen that we're going so quickly?" What?
Right. Well, the immunity challenge seemed quick because when the two tribes see each other for the first time after it, he says, "You're getting your first look."
Right.
He didn't say that unless I missed it. He didn't say it.
There was no chit chat at all. It was like they really edited it down and like really cut out every extra second so they could make room for the big talk, I guess.
Which is okay because usually that's just there's nothing going on there anyway. Yeah, but still, I was like going,
It was different than the normal formula that we're used to. So.
I'm kind of wondering if this was a week also that maybe they had a reward challenge, it just got completely edited out.
JP, I thought the same thing. I thought, why didn't we have a reward? And then I thought, wait, did they have it and they skipped it?
That's probably why Jeff didn't use that line.
What line did he say?
What he didn't say, you're getting your first look.
I was just saying, yeah, because they would have seen them there.
Good point, JP. Wow. You brought your A game today. Were you born last night?
He was nuts.
I like how my shirt is lining up.
Also not born last night mistakes.
Not raw shirt for the record.
Oh. No, that's a good point. I really was thinking about that today, and I thought, would they even do something like that? I mean, I could see where they were like, where they might think this is more important. We have to show this. What do we cut? But then you would think they would give you something like to tell us that it's online for you to see. If you want to see the reward challenge, or they would mention it. I would think, right?
Maybe even have Jeff like dub that line in, or have it dubbed in from some other point in the show. I thought, with what I was saying before, with how the episode kind of felt rushed, I had kind of spoiled myself and knew that there was going to be a Rudy tribute at the end of the episode.
Right.
I didn't know it would just be a flash of his picture. So I was kind of wondering whether or not we were going to get
plan something more.
Rudy.
I'm sure they'll do something at the reunion for that, for him.
Absolutely.
I'm sure they will, but yeah, I think like JP, I was thinking maybe a couple clips of his comments he would have to make and stuff. Like I guess all true Survivor fans know Rudy and remember him. His 2 times on this, he was on twice, right?
Yeah.
Especially the first time because he was such a key to that for the show being successful because he was such a character. I mean, he was not really a character. He was being himself.
Yeah,
but we loved him. Yeah, we loved him. We loved him for it. So, but yeah, I was expecting a little more. I mean, it was nice, but it was anyway.
Yeah. It was. I mean, it's better than nothing, right?
Right.
And I think they'll do more. I hope they do more. I trust they'll do more.
Well, they only have probably like 5 minutes in the. We'll have like 5 minutes left when it comes down to how they just keep the episode going over and over and over, the final episode. And then the final episode's on December 18th. I saw that tweeted yesterday. So that's when the finale is.
With other people, when they've passed away, I think there's like 2 or 3 other contestants we've lost. It's always been the same tribute, just a flashcard like that.
Oh.
And I think I don't think they could play favoritism toward.
Well,
good point. Also,
I'm going to say I kind of agree with that, but I'm going to say I think there's certain players that are just different. They mean more to the game. Not that certain people. I mean, it could be different opinions. That person could have meant something to someone, but I just think someone like Rudy. I mean, he was there from the start, and you always. I mean, I couldn't give you all the names of the first. If I sat down, I could probably give you most. but I can give you Rudy.
Oh yeah.
I think Rudy. I think of the movie, and I think of Survivor.
Yeah.
So when I hear Rudy,
remember his name.
Right.
Well, and they're at least they're nice enough. Also, they kind of treat everybody who's played, especially like a Rudy caliber, as family. Because when Rudy's wife passed away, they did a tribute to her. I know when Tina's lost her son in a car accident a couple years ago, same thing. So I think they've just kind of set precedent. We're just gonna always get the cards.
So
All right.
91, right?
91.
91.
So this is 20 years of Survivor this year. He was 71 when he was on the island. Is that ish? Is that all?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy. I guess.
And he made it to the he was made it to the final
played
three.
a second time. So how old was he the second time?
I think he was the first one out.
Yeah.
But anyway, rest in peace, Rudy. We love you and all that fun stuff. But anyway, getting to Survivor, we should have had a tribute. I should have had a bunch of videos, and if we weren't doing this live, I would have put that at the end of the show.
Yeah,
just to show up CBS.
Imagine it. Everyone just imagine it.
Yeah, just picture me. Anyway.
Yeah.
I like that we start off. The shelter, because I've been on the shelter kick. I don't know if I've been talking about on this, but I've been talking about it on the podcast. I do. That when you're sitting around, I've always said this, why don't you spend an hour or two a day just making the shelter better? I mean, it's like they get it up the first day. Okay, we're good. And it shows that there's a storm going on. It's raining. And has anyone ever slept been outdoors and got rained on and tried to sleep?
No, and I really don't want to either.
It happened to me once when I was like 14. I was camping somewhere and we didn't have a tent, and it started raining. And it was like, all right, we're all wet. It was just, and you couldn't sleep. It was terrible.
Yeah,
and who was your big spoon that night?
I didn't have Dan to spoon with, so that was upsetting. But no, would it kill you?
Spoon as much as he wants a body pillow. That's kind of.
I don't know. We'll get to that later on. But I just think you don't, because people say, well, you're not getting food. You're not. I'm not saying you have to kill yourself doing it. But okay, let's put some more palm leaves on this. Let's tighten it up a little bit here. Let's put a wall here and a wall here to keep, when the wind's blowing, we're not getting wet.
Well, you've seen how they weave the palms together to make the mats, right? You can literally use no energy at all, just sitting there weaving those to make that thicker and thicker, so that it's strong.
And you're not doing anything most of the time. You're just sitting there, right? That's what they say. All surviving contestants say the hardest thing is sitting there 24 hours a day with nothing to do with it, just thinking about the game in your head.
Slowly making you crazy, right?
Right. And you're not eating, you're hungry. And I get you're not going to want to go spend 8 hours a day working on it.
Right.
But that's just me, and I know I'm harping on something that nobody cares about. But anyway, we go. Go ahead.
You have to see how many times we see people go out there that know they're going to be on Survivor, and they didn't even learn how to make fire before they came out. So they're not really thinking very much about comfort or how they can make their lives better. They just want to be miserable sometimes, I think.
I guess. I mean, maybe they think they'll get asked back again if they're
better.
I had caught pneumonia anyway.
Or there's some paranoia that they think that if they go out there and they know already how to do fire and they know how to do this, or they have that they'll look like some major threat or something.
That could be it, but I would learn how to do fire. I would learn how. I would. Except, but I wouldn't be one of those people who say we need to do this with it. I wouldn't be like Nora. I would just do it. And if anybody wants to help, I say, hey, I'm bored. I'm going to just kind of get this, just kind of work in the shelter, and maybe people pitch in. Maybe they don't. I'm not calling them out. If they don't want to do it, I don't care. But me personally, I can't sit there for 24 hours.
No, I can't either.
And especially if I know it's going to rain.
So here's what you do, Jack. You learn how to do those survival things. Then when you go there, you don't let anybody know, but God forbid, nobody else knows how to do it. Jack can help you out. That's how
well, then we go, and Jamal's wasting half the flint. I'm trying to start the fire, and Jack's standing there, and he goes, well, Kelly knows how to do it. And he wouldn't let her do it.
And she walked off. You could tell she went off so frustrated, so angry. Yeah. She went off so she could cry because she was so mad. But she kept her mouth quiet. So good on her.
Well, that was a good move by her because like I said, I probably would have said something I shouldn't have said, and would put a target on my back because I'd be but she did the right thing because it's a game. It's a game, and you have to get people on your side. And you're right. She walked away and just was like
crying. Her eyes were very red when she came back.
But even Jack said, I think that was kind of wrong. Mm-hmm. So he called Jamal out, but Jamal still was trying to build the fire. But then Kelly comes back and Kelly started the fire. Yeah. So I like Kelly. Kelly is one of my favorites right now. But
she has been my pick since day one, but we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. So what do you think, JP? Would you be one of those people saying, no, I got this, I can start the fire, and then you use all the flint?
I hate to say it, but that's kind of how I am. Where I'm like, you give me a piece of thread and a needle, and I'm gonna just sit. No, I got it.
You're not wasting it. You're just trying it over and over again. They're literally wasting it because once it doesn't catch, you have to use more and more. Eventually, you run out.
Right.
That's
okay. So I'm using a needle, and then when the thread doesn't work, I bite it off and I try it.
You're gonna use
we all do
that. Try again.
Okay.
We all do that.
I'm just one of those people. I just can't. And that's probably what. When I was watching that scene, it was like I could relate to Jamal. I think he was kind of like threading the needle, where it wasn't a matter of I can't do it. I'm so into this now. I just want to get it done.
But again, we go where Christy made the right. Not Christy. I'm sorry. Kelly made the right move. I just saw Christy on the move, so it got in my head. Kelly made the right move by walking away. Jamal, I think, made the wrong move by being so stubborn and to say, hey, I was just trying to do it, but you're better at it. You do it.
But it seemed
there'd be no issue.
It seemed to stay between the three of them, so I don't know that it became an issue for anyone else really at that point. But.
Well, I know other people were talking. Nora was talking later on about how she would want to cut his throat. She's always going to cut someone's throat.
She said, "I'm going to cut his throat off." I literally like.
She's got potential for violence. I mean, we've got her insinuating violence now. I mean, like last week, even she was talking about killing people. You got creepy Dan also. I mean, this is
we'll get to Dan here later on. Well, we have Janet gets.
You're talking about the other Dan. I know.
Yeah,
well, I think it's the name, but we got nobody in the chat. Nobody in the chat today.
Oh.
Anyway, we got Janet. She goes off to Idol of the Idols, and she doesn't want to go because it's becoming obvious if you go, and she's right, you become the target.
Yeah.
Because it could blow up your game. So she goes, and she's in awe. She goes, this is why it's Island of the Idols. You got
it all clicked for her, like, oh, that's what it is.
So she's just, and I mean, literally, it's like she met Elvis or the Beatles. I mean, it was a cool moment. I liked it. I liked her too. In the beginning, I don't think I picked her to go very far, but she's a good player and smart player too. But when Rob gets the challenge, this is what it was. You get a power advantage, but you have to walk away. You walk at a tribal and nobody can vote for you. I'm thinking, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
That game was set. That whole concept right there was just set up to put somebody in that position where I think anybody there would have said no, except for Nora probably.
Nora would have said, because Nora would have said yes before he even explained it.
You wouldn't even have had the first word out. I'll take it.
Yeah, because why would you never want to leave tribal?
No.
You never and then if you leave tribal, they go, well, she had an advantage the whole time. It didn't tell us.
Well, and they're all sitting there, and when you're in tribal, nobody should feel super secure at tribal, right? Everyone's kind of scared. So the idea that someone gets to get up and walk away and not be scared, that gets you pissed right there.
Yeah. So go ahead.
I was going to say it was even set up or nobody's going to take it because Rob didn't even sweeten the pot as he said he would do previously.
Well, she paused and she started thinking it out loud. Like, I think if she would have started thinking it internally and not been talking, then maybe he would have. But she immediately started this dialogue. So I think he was just listening to her. He couldn't get enough of it. He was like, yeah, okay, you're thinking.
I mean, he obviously conveyed the point that he was looking for, but I think in, I don't remember if it was the first one or the second one.
It was the first one.
It was the first one where, I mean, somebody immediately said yes, and Rob on his side interview said if they had said no, there would have been a pot sweetener.
Right.
We've only seen that one time where somebody got their 3 tribal extended to 4. Wasn't that was that Kelly?
It was Kelly, yeah.
Yeah.
I believe it was Kelly, yeah.
Kind of held out a little bit.
But Janet made the right move. And I saw people on Twitter were saying she didn't win anything. I go, yes, she did. She made the right move, because that, to me, again, you're going to Island of the Idols, and everybody seems to have a target on their back. A lot of people have gone home that have gone right. There's been a few that have gone home. Now she comes back and she didn't put she didn't have an idol put in there, but she let people know right away she didn't have an idol.
Oh, you gotta love her, right? And they said right away, they were like, "Oh, she's a free spirit," and that. And I'm like, wow, because we haven't got to see very much of her. No. We haven't gone to tribal as much.
No, but I did like how she apologized to the guy in the boat. Said, yeah. I'm sorry about that.
I like her. She seems super genuine. And Rob and Sandra seemed like they were fans of hers right away too. So
yeah. So well, they said she's smart. She's thinking.
And that was Sandra saying a woman's going to win it, and saying that she's smart. She could go far. We need an older player to win.
Right, because it's been a while since we've had an older player win.
Yep.
So, like I said, I like her. She's good in the challenges too. Yeah. Well, she wasn't great at throwing the coconut, but overall, she's great in the swimming challenges. Obviously,
they don't have that's her forte. They don't have to sit her out.
She was outstanding in the reward challenge, I heard.
She won it for her team.
And also, she didn't tell the secret, because Kelly was worried about so I think now nobody's going to say anything. But I still say, could you use that to your advantage? Could you come back and say, Kelly, I would go to there, but I think she's with Kelly and her alliance. I think they're working together. But say she wasn't, could you come back and say, Nora and Kelly knew that's who's over there, and they're not telling anyone. What secret are they hiding?
Yeah. Yeah.
So will someone eventually use that to their advantage?
We'll have to see. You think Island of the Idols will keep going after the merge?
Yeah, that's what I'm curious.
I think so for a while anyway.
I hope so.
Yeah, because it is good TV, and I didn't think I'd like it, but I do like it. But I think someone eventually, if you're like, say Dean goes over there, and he's always seems to be on the bottom, that would be the perfect time for him to throw someone under the bus and say, hey, they're Rob and Sandra over there.
He's seen him, and she's seen them, and she's seen,
Did anyone else know that hasn't gone there? Because that's who's over there.
What we're doing over there, guys, just so you know.
And they're giving you they're giving you idols, and they're giving you advantage. I would just lie, say, yeah, they're giving it to you.
I think what would be interesting is if now we have the merge coming up. After the merge, it's revealed who's over there. The show reveals who's over there. Now you've got, you still had your strength in numbers, but now you've got 3 or 4 people that are going to be odd man out that might have to start fending for themselves.
Do you think they're going to reveal that now?
I kind of think they're gonna.
Well, if that thing that we have heard that people are speculating happens, then it would have to be the next time, right? It would be next tribal. They'd have to, wouldn't they? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
The speculation that some people have said that at some point Sandra and Rob will be part of the jury.
Yeah.
And still be part of the jury. They don't.
I think they will be. I don't know who brought that up the first time I heard it, but I think they will be, because they go to tribal council. Right. Because they're there at tribal council and they're hearing everything. And what other than their smart comments, the funny comments, what reason would they be?
And they would probably vote the same way, because they're probably going to respect the same kind of player. So they're not really going to split the vote or mess it up too much. Probably, I don't know.
And I think that you would have to. I think if the players should know ahead of time that that's going to happen.
Right. So not just on finale night or that last night when they go to vote, the last tribal, not pull them out then and say, oh, by the way, they're voting too.
Because that would affect your gameplay. If I know that Sandra and Rob are going to be, I'm going to you have to impress them also.
Well, then you get to a point where you get to the final. You're getting to the finals and you're trying to figure out who you want to take along with you. Now you're starting to go, well, I don't want to take anybody who's spending time with them over there on that island.
Right.
So I'm wondering if they can even, maybe if it's like a tied vote or something like that, that them together are the deciding vote. They're the split vote. Maybe as a pair, they add one more vote to the pool.
Oh, maybe they just get one between them, maybe. Yeah. The idol vote.
That's a good, okay, I like
That's
that.
more fair. Yeah, that'd probably be better.
Especially since you said you think they're going to vote the same, and they probably would. It'd be unfair to give them two votes.
Yeah. We'll see how that plays out.
All right. But anyway, we had that, and then we have Dan. I just don't get this whole. We've talked about him before, and Kelly some of the girls have approached him about his. I know Kelly did it right away. And I said on the podcast, maybe a guy should do it. I said, well, that's not fair. It shouldn't be a gender thing. It should be a tribal thing where your tribe goes up to Dan and says, look, this is the deal. If you don't stop touching people, we're going to vote you out.
I think what they need to do is if Dan goes to Island of Idols, when he walks in, it's Chris Hansen waiting for him.
We've been waiting for you.
That'd be funny. Here's what I think how Dan is still able to be the way he's being is that Dan has been on Vokai the entire time. He never had to switch sides. He's been in his own camp and surrounded by his own people. And I think that he's felt comfortable enough. And I think that other people see him that he's not going to win. No one's taking him. He's got no alliance. Nobody, you know what I mean? And so everyone kind of looks at him like, we can put up with this because he's not a threat to win anything here. We can put up with it a little longer.
I guess you could put up with it, but me personally, obviously he's not touching me, but I don't want anyone touching me. So
but look at the first day one was like likability is a liability, right? Is that what he said?
Yeah.
So there you go. He's not likable. He's not winning.
All right. But I just think someone should, because they were joking about it afterwards and the whole thing, and it's just like, I don't know. It just, and this, especially in these times, and we get to it at the tribal council, there's boundaries and there's rules and.
Well, and it's sad that they keep talking about him, but they won't talk to him. Like keep telling him.
Well, Kelly did. Kelly did talk to him.
Well, that one time, but you have to keep letting him know until the behavior stops or get rid of him. But they've had other hard conversations. They should be able to have that conversation with them until it stops.
Now, I can see sometimes when you're sleeping, you move around. But since it was Dan, I go, okay. I didn't know it was Dan at first till they said it. I go, oh, then he's doing this intentionally.
I had to rewind and go like, who is that? Who? Yeah.
Yeah. When they said it was Dan, I go, okay.
Oh, of course. Makes sense.
Again, because yesterday, I think Colleen said on the podcast, maybe we're going to see something come out. We've seen, with the Jamal, we saw yesterday with Kelly and Jamal, that maybe something will come out with Dan and they'll confront him on the thing and it'll be another teaching moment or something like that. But again,
they're throwing seeds all over of people, these two not getting along or these two butting heads. They're sowing seeds all over.
Anyway, I guess we'll see. But
I wonder if they're like building up to just some big fallout where, I don't want to compare it to like what Sue Hawk went through with Richard Hatch.
Right.
But, something might come out of it where, I think what Christy just said, where they're all season, they're kind of planting these little seeds. And in, 2 or 3 episodes, we'll have another, very special episode, so to speak.
What will they say at the reunion show about it, though? Maybe you'll have some coworkers that'll be like, no, Dan's a nice guy. He's never creepy and hanging around my desk.
Jeff will can you show us on the doll?
I know it just seems odd, but it's again, it's a social experiment, And I don't think eventually you can't, because people try, they try to hide their personalities. They try to do this. I think after 20, like I said, 24 hours a day, you can't hide. You can't pretend to be someone you're not.
Mm-mm.
So I think this is a pattern that he's just used to doing. I mean, maybe he in his mind, he's doing nothing wrong. Maybe he's just always done this and no one's ever said anything to him. I don't know. I don't know him, but it just.
Or maybe the entire production crew is sitting there going, I thought you checked his background.
Yeah.
No, it's your turn to do it, Bob.
Did anyone fingerprint this guy? Anyway, speaking of Dan, we have Lauren and Tommy are trying to throw Dan in the bus, but you have Missy, and she's like, no, I know what's going on.
Yeah.
It was stupid for them. I get what they were trying to do, but it was like they were being too aggressive with it, I thought.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, because they weren't. Yeah, and they weren't even going to tribal yet. So
No. I think going to Jamal and saying, Dan wants to go after you. I would have left it at that.
Yeah, and then you just walk away.
Yeah, but going to each person, going, Dan did this, and it was a different story every time.
Everybody knows the creepy things Dan has done. Everybody knows, but that one thing of telling Jamal, make Jamal paranoid, then Jamal do all the work.
Yeah, and that's what good players do.
Mm-hmm.
And like Missy said, she goes, they're thick as thieves. I mean, we can tell that so obviously they're worried about it, and they're trying to save their own butt, which is what they should be doing.
Right.
But I said, okay, tell one person, you told Jamal, walk away and see what happens. But they didn't have to go to tribal anyway. So we have the immunity challenge, and Vokai gets to the puzzle first because they were using the bigger coconuts. So that's what Jeff said. They were utilizing their bigger coconuts better than the other tribe.
I always like this challenge. I think it's fun.
Yeah, it's a good
everyone participate in.
But this is what frustrates me about people with Elaine. She knew the puzzle was wrong. She kept saying the puzzle was wrong.
Right.
They don't respect her enough to listen to her.
Yeah, I don't know if it's that they don't respect her. They don't even notice her. She is flying under the radar.
Yeah.
Even when she's showing them that she's smart, they still don't even see it.
No, they think she's just some country bumpkin
They really do.
who has a great personality but can't win the game because she's too stupid. Not, she's smart. She could win this game.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to bust her can of biscuits right there.
But I was getting frustrated. I go, literally, she said it like 8 times. And then Jeff comes over. Jeff, we got it. They go, no, it's wrong. And like, I've been saying it.
Everybody can see it.
Yeah. But they just ignored her. And
if they lost the challenge, I mean, that was a very, very close challenge. I mean, it came down to one piece. But if Vokai lost the challenge, something was going to go through my TV. I was really, really, it was a good challenge, and I was feeling it. When they had the pieces wrong, I was almost standing up and yelling at my TV.
And those must have been heavy pieces too, right?
Right.
The way they were they couldn't even move them.
No, sure. Well, you had Jamal was trying to put the final piece in at an angle. I said you needed another person to come over, but no one did.
Or someone just grab that outer piece and move it back for a second so it'd slide in and then slide that one in.
Or that, or you just get 2 people and slide it in flat.
But they're all standing over there and like,
it's got to go in. It's got to go in. It's got to go in.
Like, I don't know.
That tribe was going, listen to Elaine. But anyway, that was one of the closer challenges we've had.
Yeah.
And I don't think it wasn't editing. It was that close. It was because I thought, oh, Vokai screwed up. They didn't listen to Elaine. They're gonna have to go to tribal, but they win by a hair, and that's it. We have the I thought it was one of the better confessionals in the history of Survivor. We have Kelly, who's talking about using her idol. Should I use my idol? Should I not use my idol? Then it comes to her.
Wait. And then you're like, okay, tell us.
And she's figuring it out in her head.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the Jeopardy music would have been good playing. But she comes out and she makes the plan, which was coherent. I mean, it was very well thought out.
Very good plan.
I was still worried though. I said this could blow up in her face. It could literally backfire on her.
Well, because she was banking on the fact that Dean would do what she wanted, right? So she said, if I do this for him, he'll vote the way I want him to vote. But that's a gamble. You don't know. Maybe they won't.
He could have gone to Jamal saying, "Hey, Kelly just gave me her idol.
Yeah.
Let's get her out. Let's get her out."
Well, and he already had it. Exactly.
Yeah.
She did it now. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Also, it was smart on her part to get somebody else, not her, but to get somebody else to also vote the way she wanted.
Because she has all the deniability.
I know.
She
Well, 'cause
left
she-
no fingerprints on that.
Well, she did go to Nora and say that she heard that they were talking about voting her out,
But
which is, but it's true because everyone's always talking about voting
sure.
Nora out.
Who
So
told her to vote Jack? Who came up and said,
I think she said she was going to tell her to vote Jack.
Yes, she did.
Yes. So that's the only way it could come back and get her. But I thought it was a fantastic, because it worked. It was a fantastic move. I had no clue. Well, we'll get to that when we get there. But Jamal feels safe, and I'm thinking, okay, Jamal's going home. The editing has been so good, because usually when someone's going on and on about that, they would go home.
mm-hmm.
But it's not with the,
That would have helped my fantasy league, but
then you had Division Dean 1. Division Dean was worried about going home. Division 1 Dean was worried about going home, and he probably should have gone home.
Yeah.
But
Well,
Kelly saved him.
I don't fault her for taking that place though and keeping him though. But we can
No.
talk about that later.
No, because we had a good conversation last night about it, but we'll probably get to that too. Kelly tells Division 1 that she has an idol, and she's going to give it to him. And I'm like going, wow, she's going with the plan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But she was smart though. She waited until she knew that they're probably, because the sun was coming down. She knew there wasn't a lot of time for him to go around.
Oh,
She's a smart player.
yeah.
So she waited to almost the
Like,
last
We're
second.
about ready to leave. Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
She gave him no time to scramble.
Right. So
Yeah,
he almost had to go her way, because unless he went around saying, did the silent thing.
He had to know people were voting him, didn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, he would think so. Yeah.
So somebody comes with that Hail Mary to save your butt at the last moment, you take it.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to. I mean, he's saved for another day, and at that point, I don't think it's too early to backstab, because if you do it, I mean, I probably didn't know that this was going to be that whoever got voted out was going to be on the jury,
Mm-hmm.
right? Until they got there. But that's a vote you're going to lose.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if I save you and you don't vote for me, you vote against me. But I liked it, the tribal, because Nora goes on to Dean, you won't even look me in the eye, and she's blasting him. And it's pretty good. But then Dean turned around and said, well, you wanted to cut Jamal's throat. You wanted to get rid of him. And she went, and Jamal goes, what?
Yeah.
So I said, great move.
Jamal asked her questions, but he asked her questions through Jeff. Jeff, why don't you ask Nora? I love
Yeah.
that was great.
But I just thought that was a good move by Dean.
Yeah.
He wasn't obnoxious about it. He just, and Nora, who's honest, and Jamal goes, well, that's not much of an answer. Well, okay, you know how we are. Sometimes we like each other, sometimes we don't like each other. That was funny. And then we have Jamal makes a comment, and I said right away, I go, ooh. I said, oh, that's not going to go across well. And then Kelly calls him out. But again, almost like with Jack and Jamal, it wasn't a scream fest. It wasn't people screaming at each other. She was matter of fact, Kelly. She stated, her position without screaming. And it was talked about, in a way that it wasn't like the, what was that guy? What was that guy with the big, I'm dating myself here. What was that guy? Morton Downey Jr. It wasn't a Morton Downey Jr. affair or Jerry Springer, something like that. It was people talking about their feelings and talking about what, how life should be, educating, because I said yesterday, I said, there's times I'm around and I've not been around something, or I'm older and there's certain things that, okay, I can't say that anymore. You can't do this anymore. And you learn from it. And like I said, it was handled, I thought, I thought it was a great way they handled it. It wasn't the screaming and yelling you've seen in the past.
Well, I think since Kelly spoke first, she gave the message so succinct and so clearly that everyone understood it at the same. Even if you knew exactly what she was talking about and understood why she was saying that. And then when Janet came in and said what she said, it wrapped a big bow on it. And I think everyone got it at that point.
Janet,
I think Janet, go ahead.
I was going to say Janet's big bow. I mean, I loved I in my notes here, I underlined, I love the way Janet actually handled that. That was perfect. It was perfect.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like I said, it was well handled. It wasn't uncomfortable to watch. It wasn't, someone being, just talked down to and stuff like that. I do like how Jamal said, he goes, okay,
Yeah.
Jeff, like you said earlier, Jeff, ask Nora if there's been talk about a women's alliance. Well, yeah.
He goes defensive. He just kind of rolled with it.
Yeah.
That I think helps a lot, right? So he just started he entered the conversation versus trying to get all defensive and that's not what I meant. So there couldn't really be an argument. He took it.
Yeah, it was everybody handled it perfectly, I thought.
Yeah.
It was well done. And again, it's like they're saying, this is filmed a year ago, but it was probably the start of the Me Too. Yeah, sometime last year.
About a year.
But it's the start of the Me Too movement. It's been a year in advance, and we still have obviously a long way to go. But at least it's being talked about where what wouldn't be talked about. But again, like I keep going, all right, something's going to have to happen with Dan because he's been the biggest.
They are going
to offender of what's going on.
Point so hard. I mean, I just think that's what's going to happen. He's going to have such a fall. They're going to.
I wonder if he's going to quit.
Huh?
I said, I wonder if he's going to quit the show.
Ooh, I don't think that.
No, I don't think he should have to quit. He just needs to be told, you can't touch me anymore.
Or if it just becomes such a situation where production has to get involved and
it's just
warn him and then pull him out or something.
Well, Varner didn't quit, right? He eventually got voted out, but when he made his comment. I mean, we're human. We say stupid things, but he's doing stupid things.
Right.
He's doing things that are just not okay. He's not a politician in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. It's 2019, and you can't do that anymore. But we'll see what happens. But I do like the fact that Dean pulls out an idol, and the one that looked the most shocked, almost forgot she gave it to him, Kelly.
Oh yeah,
what an actress! Because she's like. And Nora came back and said, well, why didn't he play it last week? So kudos to Nora to be thinking far ahead, because why did he play it last week?
Maybe he found it.
Yeah, that's what he'd probably say.
Yeah, what else do you say?
Unless he throws Kelly in the bus. No, Kelly gave it to me because she wanted to break up your game. But I don't think he'll do that because I think he's like he said, he's on the bottom of both tribes. And now, when they merge, he's going to probably be on the bottom unless Kelly pulls him forward. I really think Kelly did it because if you look at her, who she had for an alliance, Jamal, she doesn't trust Jamal. She doesn't trust Jamal. Nora is a loose cannon because you can't tell her anything because she's going to go tell everybody what's going on.
Right.
I think Janet is the one solid one she has, and I think she went to get Dean on her side. So at least there's three of them, and they can pull another person into the merge. I think that's really why she did it. I think she was to save Dean, was to save her own game because I don't think her alliance was that strong.
See, I saw it more as she has her alliance, but then she sees this person. She sees Dean, and she's like, I can kind of work him a little bit. I can use him to vote the way I want. And she knows that the merge is about to happen. She knows at that point it's everyone for themselves, right? I mean, you still have your life, but still. And she looks at those people, and she's absolutely right. Everybody likes Jack. He's ruffled no feathers. He's not a schlub. He could win immunity.
Right.
So she thinks, you know what? Let's get rid of him because let's do this now before we get there. And maybe he goes a run at it or something with immunities or something.
Plus, she also said he could beat me.
Oh yeah.
But I still think that I still, because Nora's if I'm you're thinking, because like Rob said, you have to think 2-3 steps ahead in this game.
Right.
So I think they were thinking too early about Final Three, but I think now you're getting to the merge, you have to start thinking Final Three. Nora is definitely somebody I want to bring with me. Karishma is someone I want to bring with me. Those are two people. If I won $1 million,
getting me Dan too.
I would take Handsy Dan too.
For him.
So there's a lot of people that there's 3 or 4 people I don't think can win it.
Mm-hmm.
But it depends on who goes to the Final Three. I said, Nora could win it if she goes against Karishma and Dan.
Yeah, the 3 of them, maybe Nora.
I mean, if somehow they get to the Final Three, I'm like going, well, Nora was great in the challenges and she wasn't touching me.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna pick her. I mean, it's just interesting how it could play out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would definitely. I was going to say to what, with Kelly bringing, she's with Janet. I would even keep Karishma around because you can beat Karishma. You can beat her in challenges.
Right.
You can definitely beat her in a final 3.
And
then when they merge, Kelly hasn't really. She's not on the radar, just with the way even how she handled the beginning of the episode. You hang on to Janet, hang on to Karishma, and then with the merge, you could still pull over Missy, you could pull over Elaine, keep away from like what I would call like the bad guys now. You got Aaron, Tommy, these are the guys you want to start targeting.
Right. Because Aaron's pretty cocky too.
Well, I thought she's going to keep Karishma around because Karishma told her right away she was never going to go back to Laro.
Yeah.
Right.
Even at the merge, she's not going to go back with the original folks. No. So
but she might go. I think she could have said that just for that. If at this point you're going to do what's best for you in the game, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
And even yesterday she was. Somebody called her out in the challenge on her own team. She got defenses like I am doing it or what is it? She wasn't doing something, and she doesn't like to be called out on singled out, which I understand. Nobody wants to be singled out. But then we had where Dean plays his idol, and then Jamal plays an idol. And I'm thinking, okay, good move, Jamal, because I was really worried Jamal was going to go home. Maybe they were setting it up for him to go home, and he plays it for Nora. I go, Jamal, what are you doing? I go, what are you?
Was he feeling guilty or something? Like he owed her something? Or
No, I think he was trying to keep his alliance strong.
Yeah, he's trying to prove like there's no hard feelings. We're all in this together.
I think he was thinking there's no, he was thinking no way Jack's going home because no one told him that Jack was going to go home. It's 100% on Dean, and he's thinking, okay, well, they'll probably vote for Nora because Dean's always talking about voting for Nora.
Yeah.
He's always saying he has Nora. So he's thinking, all right, that's all Dean's been talking about. I'll save Nora, and we'll see what happens. We'll go to another vote or whatever has to happen. But I thought for sure I'd go, oh, someone's going to vote Jamal. And it turned out to be Jack, and Jack's like going,
yeah.
Felt bad for him.
The one thing I will say about Kelly targeting him that might be bad for them in the long run was he was original Vokai with her. If they had taken out Alero tonight instead, they would, instead of being 7-6, they would be 8-5, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going into the merge. That was better. That might be her only.
But I think she replaced Jack with Dean, and she feels better with Dean. And plus, Dean, like you said, Dean keeps saying, I'm on the bottom of both tribes. I mean, I went to tribal, and no one even told me what was going on.
Yeah, I don't think no one's going to let him get to the end.
No, so unless he gets a string where he wins, 5 immunities and goes to Island of the Idols, gets an immunity idol, yeah, Dean will be gone. But anyway, the vote came down, and poor Jack.
Yeah.
Jack went home.
Yeah, he was a little surprised. He was.
And he dropped. What did he drop? He dropped something. I think he was just so bummed. And I get it. I mean, because he wanted to make the merge, but at least he made it to the jury.
Yeah, he seemed a little happier about that. Like, oh.
Yeah. But you want to make the merge, though.
Kudos to CBS also for having 2 back-to-back shows with a Jack being the first member of jury.
Yeah, there you go. Didn't even think about that. Nice. Big Brother.
Oh.
But this Jack was less obnoxious.
Yeah, he's a much more likable and teachable Jack.
Because that's usually how Jacks are.
Yeah, they're usually great.
I'm just going to throw that out there from experience. My dad was that way. I wasn't, but my dad was that way. His name was Jack, too. But no, I enjoyed this episode again because I had no clue. I had zero. I was not thinking Jack at all. I was thinking, oh, my God, it's going to be Jamal. And then, it was Dean. I'm like going, okay, Dean saved himself. Great job, Kelly. And then when I saw Jack, I go, Jack. Right. Great job, CBS.
Yeah.
Great job.
Really great. And I didn't even know until the very end when you see who they voted that it wasn't Kelly. It was, in fact, Nora.
Yeah.
Because move on Kelly's part.
Yeah.
Because I really thought it was her. The other vote was her. It made logical sense as they're reading the votes. So then you really think she's acting like, oh, my gosh, right? Which obviously she was. But she didn't. She didn't even have to vote for him.
No.
Crazy.
Perfect. Well, we'll get into our players of the game, but I'm loving this season. That's 2 seasons back to back that have been pretty good so far.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And this one, I don't see how they can screw it up because it's been a perfect season of Survivor so far. I say.
Oh, I'm sure. Dan.
They haven't been won best reality show for a long time.
Right.
But they're back on their game. I think they could. Maybe
Well, their ratings are up.
Good.
And for a show that's been on for this 39th season,
Yeah.
for your numbers to go up,
Yeah.
that's impressive.
They're getting it right.
Do you think, the fact, obviously they're editing it a different way to give us these very special moments. Do you think that's what gives them the boost for potentially winning an award?
Oh,
Rather than it doing same old Survivor?
I think that definitely pads it for sure. Yeah.
Well, it couldn't hurt.
Because it's topical, right? It's not just entertainment. It's also teachable, topical. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that more than any, because they always say they're a social experiment. That it's the greatest social experiment in the history of television, which is probably true. When you lump people together and put them in situations where it's not comfortable and all that other stuff, and
watch them trying to not kill each other.
Right, exactly, and that it's shocking that a fight's never broken out. I mean, a fist fight is never really broken out in Survivor.
They're too tired and hungry.
I mean, you can see where times where the people wanted to.
In the face, but I just have no energy to even punch you.
I'll get you when the show's over.
I don't think the show wants moments like that. I mean, the only time I could remember ever seeing something that bad was when
Brandon Hance.
Yeah, Brandon Hance, when he was on, and it was, to have to basically break the fourth wall and bring security and all that.
Well, I think that's what. Go ahead.
He was aggressive, and no one was reciprocating the aggression. He was like lashing out at everybody, but no one was taking the bait. Everyone was just like, "Oh my God, what's wrong with this guy?"
Well, I think there was. Go ahead. There was definitely a backlash from that because I know everyone complained. They said, "This is not what I signed up for. I don't want to. I mean, I want to watch that."
Right.
You can understand someone. I don't mind someone getting upset or just frustrated, but that was just crazy TV for 10, 12 minutes. He went on and on and on that we saw.
Right.
I want to see the strategy. I want to see how people are working together, working against each other. I want to see, obviously there's going to be stuff that happens, but I never want to see that. I never want to see where someone just loses it like that for really no reason whatsoever. And like I said, never bring him back.
Yeah.
But let's go to our players of the game. Chris, do you want to start it?
My player of the game, I think I have to. It was kind of hard because there were some good people this week. I think I have to go with Janet.
Really?
We got to see so much of her. She knocked it out of the park with Rob and Sandra. They're big fans already now. They're like, yeah, Janet, she's pretty cool. She could win the whole thing. Yeah, maybe. And then at Tribal, how she said she took what Callie had said and said, no, you know what? We need everyone together. It can't just be a woman group or a man's group. We need everybody, and we need to start thinking like that. It's all of us.
Right.
And, so I'm going to say Janet.
Yeah, I had the Oscar going to Kelly. I think, for her performance in tonight's episode, it was like Saving Private Ryan. It was just perfect.
Yeah, but she didn't flash her boobs. Janet gets points for flashing her boobs. Come on.
Well, you didn't let me get to my MVP.
Oh, you're sorry.
All right, so for my MVP, most visible body parts, I did pick Janet for the same reasons. I think the way
we got to see so much of her this episode.
Oh,
yeah, we did. Well, it's hard for me to argue with you guys going with Janet. But I got to go with Kelly. I think she dictated how the game. She definitely dictated who went home, and I think, and she did it again without any blood on her hands. She did it. She didn't put a target on her back. She was how she thought it out. Again, it could have. I'm thinking. I was even thinking. You don't even have to do this. There's no reason for you to put your game in jeopardy because Dean's going to go home. There was no reason. There was no reason whatsoever. Like I said, how many times we've seen something like that backfire because someone overthinks it, and they're the ones that go home when they shouldn't have gone home. But she, and like again, like I said, her acting was, again, she was amazing. So,
and her thinking was really good too.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, she was fantastic. So again, I can't argue with Janet, but I'm gonna be different and go with Kelly.
So if she had been able to use that idol, if that wasn't the last tribal she could use that idol at, she wouldn't have given it to him.
No.
Oh, no. Not at all.
Starter. She was like, I only have one more tribal for this.
Yeah.
I don't want to see this go to waste. Wait, how can I use it to best, help my game, but at the same, she did it perfectly.
Because she didn't have to bring it up, because now Jamal, people are like going, hey, he had an idol, didn't tell anybody. Whereas Kelly goes,
well, the only person to be mad there would probably be Jack, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, you're working with somebody and you want to have that trust. And wow, I'm in his alliance. He didn't tell me yet. It's the right thing to do. I always say you should never tell anybody you have an idol. But if I'm playing against him, I go, if I'm playing against him and I want to use something against him, he had an idol and didn't tell us. What else is he keeping a secret from us? Mm-hmm. Whereas Kelly played the idol for the person she wanted without anybody knowing she did it.
So check this out. 2 people had idols this week, and neither one of them used it for themselves.
Right.
In one show. That never happens. I mean, it rarely happens. And yeah, that's never happened. That's crazy.
Well, I'm actually glad too. I mean, how many times are you sitting there watching it and somebody will hatch that perfect plan that'll save them or save somebody else, whoever you're rooting for, and then you just never see the plan play out. It's just a standard. They go back to option A that everybody was originally talking about. So I'm glad to see such a well thought out plan play out, and I'm really looking forward to seeing. Obviously based on the coming attractions for next week, something.
Well, maybe that's why the editing is so good, because we're all thinking, okay, this plan could blow up in her face. What are you doing, Jamal? And it didn't happen.
Right.
But, and you know what I just thought of? The editing is so good that they completely foreshadowed that on the when they showed the clip of Chris, when they were over there with Janet and Rob and Sandra, and they showed the clips of last season with Dad Bod and Chris giving his up so that he could go to fire against Chris and save it. So they showed that as a clip of somebody giving up their idol for somebody else at Tribal.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true. And also, I forgot to mention, Kelly, if she has to go to fire, has a good chance of beating whoever she's going to go against.
Yeah.
That's true.
Because
Yeah.
she's so good at making fire. So
Elizabeth could be, but
yeah,
we've never seen her use it. Not one time.
we barely hear from her.
No, not a thing.
She barely gets any airtime, but except when she's around a lane. When she's around a lane, she does. But I don't know. Good show tonight, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's definitely great.
But we'll be back. It's 2 hours next week. I think it's 2 shows next week. So
Right. 2 separate
shows. So we'll have 2 eliminations, I would think, and go from there. But I'd like to thank everyone who joined us in the chat today.
Oh my God, the comments.
Now I don't know if there could be people listening, but they're just not putting any comments in the chat. I don't know if it shows.
They don't want to say hello.
No, I don't know if it shows if anybody's there or not. I'm not seeing anybody, but it is what it is.
Don't be
We're
shy.
here.
Say hello next time.
Yeah, make a comment. Tell JP he's wrong.
You have ideas and thoughts and opinions.
Everyone's opinion matters here.
Done.
But that's all we got. Thanks for watching. Tell a friend, subscribe, thumbs up, all that fun stuff. And we'll be back next Thursday night at 10 o'clock. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
All right.